Hello to you and your homegirls. What's up, y'all? It's me, Chris. I'm back with no noise. God bless it. Hallelujah. I am here with a super quick to the point video. This has kind of been in my head heavy, so I was like, let me just get it off. Let me let the girls know. I have a little curation here of 5 palettes that I think are awesome for beginners. I do kind of have them ranked off in a way that makes sense to me, but honestly, it's in no particular order. Any of these will be great for a beginner. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. When I show you these palettes, I don't mean get exactly these palettes. I am kind of recommending the brand and kind of like the vibe, like kind of what you need as a beginner. So shall we hop in? Let's start with Miss Cara Beauty. This is actually really new to my collection and I'm actually wearing her today. And fun fact, I am a beginner. You probably can tell by the eye look. This wasn't really what I was going for today, but I'm okay with it. I'm recommending Cara Beauty. This one is Static Serenity. They do beautiful art on their palettes. It's really affordable. You can find them in Marshalls for like 10 to 12 bucks. I think this formula is quite beginner friendly. When you are a beginner, what you need is something that isn't too pigmented that it like scares you away and you don't know what to do, but something that is buildable and gives you time to get where you're trying to go so that you can pick up a little bit of product and then continue to build on that to get what you want. And that's what I feel like Cara Beauty is really good at. I had seen these palettes in Marshalls all the time, but never picked them up because I never really had a cosign about the brand, but this brand has been getting a lot of love lately and I see why. These shades are extremely pigmented, but still very workable and buildable. I've been wearing this makeup all day long. I've been to work, been back, been up, you know, great quality, very affordable. This color story is also very beginner friendly. I'd seen this palette before, but I didn't pick it up because as a true beginner, these greens, I wouldn't have known what to do with these greens. But a good color story for a beginner is, say you love green, like this. You can pick up a green palette, but make sure you have some neutrals to kind of like balance you out. And that's why I really like this palette. It's half colorful, half neutral, and that kind of balances it out and gives you a lot of room to grow and play and stuff to that nature. So Cara Beauty, I definitely recommend them to beginners. I think this is a very easy but good formula. So that's number 5, Miss Cara Beauty. 4, Makeup Revolution. These Forever Flawless palettes. Now, I'm not specifically speaking about this one. This one is good vibes, chilled vibes. You would think that green is my favorite color. I'm showing you 2 green palettes in a row. This just kind of spoke to me. I bought this as a beginner. It's, again, just like the Cara Beauty one, half colorful, half neutral. I learned very quickly that I cannot wear these white-based greens. And this Makeup Revolution is a hit or miss brand, but I think as a beginner, you should kind of put a cap on the amount of money you're willing to spend on a palette because you are not sure what you're doing with it yet. So Makeup Revolution, I think, is a good place to start. Maybe one of the neutral Forever Flawlesses with some pops of color. The formula, when it's a good formula, is very easy to work with. It's not scarily pigmented, but still gets you where you need to be. So I do recommend Makeup Revolution's Forever Flawless palettes. This one, the packaging just got me. I thought it was really cute, and I did buy this as a beginner. And Profusion is literally top 3 brands for me, even now that I feel like I've taken, you know, I'm not as much of a novice as I was. This was probably my first palette, like my first palette that I bought myself. I chose the Color Story and I actually started using it. This is, Profusion does lots of like face things, like they'll give you a double-sided thing, and then you'll have eyeshadow on one side and then some face stuff. This was actually my first eyeshadow primer. It's all gone. I cannot use this under eye concealer. Profusion doesn't have the best pressed glitter, so I don't really use these. This brow powder is actually fine. As you can see, I have a dent going in on this one. And this baby, this Color Story. This reminds me of the ABA's Jackie Aina. This was kind of, Profusion is such a nice beginner formula because it is extremely pigmented, but still light and soft and blendable. And this Color Story was perfect for me as a beginner because I had all these neutrals, but then I had these beautiful pops that were keeping me interested. And this palette actually is the reason why I have so many palettes, is because I was scared that I was going to hit pan on this. So I just started buying other things so that this wasn't the only palette that I would use all the time. This palette is so special to me. I love all the mattes and the shimmers. This is just my boo. It was like I would reach for it for holidays, for any occasion. This is an any occasion palette, and I do love Profusion. I have more Profusion now, but this one is just so sentimental to me because it was kind of like the one that was like, okay, you can do this. So I love Profusion, and I think Profusion is a great brand to start with as a beginner. They have lots of fun palettes for super affordable. They're all over the place. You can get them either on their website, and I think that they're sold at Walmart as well. Next, second to first, is Violet Voss. This is a bit more of, I guess, a prestige brand compared to the ones that I'm talking about here, but Violet Voss. This is the Violet Sunset palette. This is a sleeper. I just wanted to try the formula. I had been seeing Violet Voss in people's collections, and I really just was curious about the formula. Purple is my favorite color, so I picked this Color Story up at Marshall's for 10 bucks. I kind of like played with it, and I was like, cool, it could stay, it could stay. Then I started using it. This is one of my favorite palettes in my collection. It looks so good. Every time I use this, it just looks, I cannot explain it. This is a great palette for work. I know it looks a little crazy with the purples or whatever, but an amazing palette for work or doing something important, doing something like put together. It's so pretty. The formula is unique to them. It's a different formula. When I started using it, I was like, I don't know. This is kind of giving, I don't know. It was weird. But the more I worked with it, the more I realized, like, this is a beautiful formula. The shimmers are really nice. They're almost kind of multicolored because the shimmers are different colors than what the base is. For example, the Violet Sunset. It has like blue shimmers in there. Peach and vanilla are the same way. I like using these shimmers as highlighter, and these neutrals here are perfect. A lot of palettes don't go deep enough. This is like the perfect gradient. This palette is tiny but mighty. All bases are covered here. The only thing that is missing is I wish that there was a lighter color matte, just in this specific one. I do suggest Violet Voss, maybe a different color story, but this is a nice higher end beginner formula. It's very easy to work with. Everything just looks really elevated and nice in my opinion with Violet Voss. I think other YouTubers might direct you to Viseart as a beginner brand. I just think they're a little too pricey and not always inclusive. Violet Voss goes deep. These shimmers are beautiful. The mattes are so easy to work with. It's just really, really good. I really like Violet Voss. This is one of my favorite palettes in my collection. And drum roll please, to the best palette in my opinion for beginners is the e.l.f. Bite Size. This is my boo and still is. I was just curious about this formula because it was so polarizing. Some people thought it was overhyped, other people were obsessed with it, and I really just wanted to see what the hype was, see if I would like it or if I wouldn't. This one is I Love You a Latte. I have 3, and this one is my favorite. This one was my first and remains my favorite. This one's just all 4 mattes, and it goes from light to dark, which is what you need as a beginner. This is actually very versatile. You can do a little smoky eye, a little cut crease, a little one shade. I love e.l.f. Bite Size. They're really pigmented, but then easy to work with. $3. And they come in such a variety of shades, and they don't overwhelm you. Like the Cara Beauty can be overwhelming as a beginner. A quad is great for a beginner because there's a little bit of a formula. You lay a transition, you deepen your crease with something deeper, you place something on your lid, and you might want to highlight with the shimmer. This one is just, I was buying like colorful palettes but didn't have anything to put in my transition. So that's kind of what I bought this for, to kind of always have something in my transition. And it still kind of serves that purpose. If I need to blend something out, I reach for her. If a palette is missing an inner corner highlight, I'll reach for this. If a palette is missing a deep brown, I'll reach for this. It's just such a core palette in my collection, and I love her so much. So these are my opinions on beginner-friendly palettes, how to just kind of like mess around and have good core items in your collection as a beginner. I will just give a handful of quick tips. Eyeshadow is not as easy as it looks. Like, I definitely jumped in thinking I knew what I was doing. I did not. It took a while to kind of like catch a momentum and start being creative and having fun with it. But like I said, just kind of put a cap on the amount of money you're willing to spend on a palette. Be intuitive and creative. Like, go after the colors that excite you, but still try stuff out to see if it looks good on your skin tone, looks good with your eyes. Watch a lot of tutorials, have fun. You will get there. You will learn how to do eyeshadow. I hope this was helpful, and I will be back with the worst palettes for beginners. I love you all. Bye.